Good morning, gentlemen. I'm heading out from my house, all clean shaven and youthful again. Feeling fantastic. Heading out to do something we don't typically do here in the South, which is install a kind of like a hydro heat air handler with the water coil built into it. It's going to be a Trane with a water coil built into it, like a TM7. Instead of the heater slot, you got a spot for that hydronic coil. It's really kind of, we don't really get into this. There's only one subdivision that I've ever worked in that they use these, and it was about 15 years ago, a little place called Avenir in Wilmington, and they had a bunch of hydronic coils with circulator pumps hooked up to the water heater. And we're changing one of those out after all this time. So I guess that's the only time I'm ever going to see these is on changeouts for this particular subdivision. So it should be kind of interesting. I'll be working with my brother. I don't typically get a whole lot of video when I'm working with my brother because he's camera shy. So we'll see what we can get. Should be interesting to take little pieces of it and just see, show the other boys in the South that it does exist. Look at the sheer amount of acorns. There's a lot of acorns. Acorns everywhere. Let's pump it down now. I cut both these lines off. What it is, I pumped the system down. I taped these off because this unit actually is in pretty good shape, really. It's only 12 years old, which is not extremely old, so if someone wants to use it for something, I'm going to keep the lines protected. Got these taped off. This one's crimped off. Cut them loose. I'm going to wheel this thing out of here. Like I said, it's a 3.5 ton air conditioner, so someone might be able to use it. It might make it to the scrap pile, the fan. So I'm going to get this thing out of the way. The new one should be here soon. Set it, and I can braze it back up and connect all the wiring and stuff. Show us how it's done. Next time we're going to have this right. Alright? We're going to have a step by step. Look at that. So I think we got it. There's our hot water coil. Our two connections on the outside, just a TM7 air handler. It's gonna fit right back in here. There's our supply fitting, plumbing fittings coming in. The plumber's gonna hook those up, and all of our gadgets and stuff, including a zone panel that we're gonna have to hook up as well. Well, guys, we have our little bit of dryer here. It's a really tiny baby dryer. It's the little guy. We have our service valves, and the old American Standard. We're gonna work on fitting it up, getting it all connected. What's interesting about this job is that here I am, I'm kind of cleaning off these fittings, putting them together. Besides having a tiny dryer, is that we originally installed this house and I worked for my father's company back in 2004. So I get to come full circle. See a one-way dryer there. Going toward the indoor coil, as it should be. So it's come full circle. It didn't take too long. I mean, 12 years, not too long for when the system was 12 and a half. That's a shame. I think I need to cut this thing off before I did that. Oops. Talking. So the original units were Trane XR12s, and this will be a 14 or 15 SEER American Standard, depending on what it's matched up with. It should be 15 SEER because it's a TM7 variable speed air handler. So there we go. So we're all fitted up. I gotta flow some nitrogen while I'm brazing. I'm gonna take these caps off. Take my caps off, take the Schrader covers off, take the Schraders out. I can hook up the nitrogen and all that good stuff. Start it rolling. These have regular service valves. They don't have ball valves on them. I don't know if the upper SEER ones, higher SEER ones do or not. I like the ball valves. They're nice. The last one had a ball valve, the XR12. Which You know, times change. Gotta save money. Service valves, I guess, are less expensive than ball valves, or everybody would use them. Alright, I'll get our nitrogen set up. I'm here with my youthful family members here. There's Landon in between there. There he's gone. Now there he is. There's gone. Now there he is. There's Mallory and Andy. And we have bought these.
Andy!
Oh, look. They don't know how to behave. Shocker.
No, he's
So,
blocking the camera.
let's wait till Mallory's done talking, everybody.
Can I have my straw? Can you give me my straw, Daddy? I got my straw. Mallory, can I have my straw?
We're going to go ahead and proceed and get the straw in a minute. Alright, so we're going to drink these Cokes, which are the size of Texas. These Texas-sized Cokes. Oh my gosh. Dun, 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 dun. So we have our Cokes here, and Mallory drinks Coke. She turns into a sane person. Mallory turns into someone, she's like, can scale walls. She can fly. Her eyes turn red and her head starts to shake like this, you know? So we're going to see what happens after Mallory drinks her giant-sized Coke. Let's see what she turns. What do you think is going to happen?
She's going to start killing me.
Because she's going to start killing you. What do you think, Landon?
He will murder us all.
Murder us all.
What do I think?
Who cares what you think? We're going to see what happens.
I'm going to bounce off the wall.
Guys, I'm looking at a Goodman unit here with the old repetitious dryer. Dryer inside, dryer outside. 2 dryers, twice the fun, with a small line going in, a very small line going in. So we're going to see what's going on with this particular unit. Said it wasn't cooling the other day. We have a 5/8 and it looks like 1/4 inch line, so not good, but we'll see how she's doing. Guys, looking at the I-manifold stuff, we're not too far off as far as targets, even though we have a 13 SEER dry charge unit with a 1980 something indoor unit, or 1990 something maybe. So I'm going to look at some other causes why this thing wouldn't have cooled. Probably the drain comes out in this location down here, which is in a big pile of dirt. Might have got backed up. I'm going to pour some water in the drain and see if it backs up again. Static. And all of our static is on the return side, even though the supply goes up into the attic and the return is sitting on a box. So I'm going to go up in the attic and make sure the main duct line isn't loose or something blowing into the attic. I'm up in the attic and it doesn't look too bad. The main trunk coming over here is a little small, but evidently it didn't matter to static, although I should probably test static a little bit farther down the line. It might make a little bit of a difference, but oh well. So the closest run out is, well, they're not really any of them really close. That one in the bathroom is right there where I was testing it before. We have a attic ventilator that's not wired like every single other attic ventilator. This one doesn't look new. I don't know. I hear it going. That's good. Might check around here to see if I feel any air leaks, but I mean, this looks pretty good for older ductwork, really. Oh well. I do see some of these seams. I can feel air coming out from some of these seams, like right here. I can feel it. Feels nice. So it's probably the case with a lot of these tape seams, which I know changing out the ductwork, I guess, would solve that problem. That's a non-Zac job for sure. So it could be rewrapped with a Reflectix and sealed up, resealed. Yeah, I mean, losing a lot of our capacity in here. We already have a way undersized line set, so the capacity's down anyway. So not good, friends, not good. Have everything back together here. Had to replace the 40/5 capacitor with one of the Titans here. It was bad Leroy Brown. So gotta find a couple caps for these connections down here. A little bit dirty down there, but at least they cleaned up here. It's okay out here now. No more snakes, except for something smells like it's dead, but I guess you gotta take what you can get. So this one, has a few issues. Maybe I'll do a little bit of talk in the truck after I leave here, or at the end of the day, to attach to this video. Guys, I just left the call where we're looking at that Goodman unit, and a lot of red flags on that call. I've been kind of talking to them for years about this stuff. Now the ductwork's inefficient. It's coming apart a little bit now. The seams are exposed. It wasn't that efficient to begin with. It's probably been around since, at least the 1990s, maybe earlier. You're probably losing, I don't know, at least 10-20% of your total BTU output into the ductwork. Just judging from me moving the temperature probe around and seeing what our outputs were at different locations, you can see how much is lost just from our closest supply, which is coming off the unit or off to that bathroom, all the way down to the living room, which is 20 foot away. And the temperature rose, a degree and a half or two, which when we have a diminished capacity already is going to really hurt us on those really hot days outside. Now, the capacity was rated anywhere from just over 2 tons to about 1.8 tons all throughout the process, and that's with my input airflow numbers. The auto estimated numbers were actually pretty close to the original numbers, but with the door closed, I didn't redo and check the auto estimated again. I just kept my numbers, and what I did is I used a DAFM3 to get a reading, that's vane anemometer, a reading of 1150 or so with the door open, the closet door open. So 1150 with the door open, a static pressure of about 0.23, 0.24, gives us around 1150 CFM, and we had a capacity that was still, 75% of the total capacity. Clean filter, clean filter, coil's okay because I've cleaned it before. So when you close the door, the static jumps up to over 0.3. I put in a 10 or 1,000 CFM number, kind of arbitrarily. I didn't actually measure. I don't have the information for that particular door grill as far as what the free area is. So I just kept it at 1,000 just for kind of, shits and giggles, we'll call it. And our capacity dropped really low, where you can really see how on a hot day, the problems the system have are exacerbated by that, not lack of airflow, but we have decreased airflow in conjunction with the fact that the line set's way undersized. Takes away a lot of the capacity of the liquid line being 1/4 for 2.5 tons instead of 3/8. So all those things kind of make this perfect storm of disaster. When I arrived at the house, I'm watching for traffic while I'm talking. While I arrived at the house, the thermostat was set on 70 and it was satisfied. I stayed a couple hours. The temperature actually, as I ran the machine, rose slightly in the house. So it didn't actually cool below 70, even though we had like an 86 degree day outside. So not really hot, or 86 right now. It's gonna get hotter. But the temperature rose. So that's definitely not doing a good job. We have the attic fan that's out in the attic. We have the ductwork. We have the small line set. Just a whole bunch of things coming together to make this thing a problematic system. The outdoor unit's a 13 SEER 2011 dry charge. The indoor unit is a 1999. So it's 17 years old. Probably a 10 SEER matchup at the time. So EER turned out being around 10 as well. So that's actually better than I thought it was going to be. But not a good situation. They really should change it out, because with repairing, I like to make repairs. Everyone knows that I like to do repairs first, change out later. But when it's a mismatched system with the improper line set in the slab, there's not much you can repair there unless you're going to run a new line set. And if you're running a new line set and going to match up the system properly, you might as well get a new system. There's not much point. The suction pressure actually came up as it was running. We had a temperature went up in the house, but only by about a degree. The suction pressure actually came up from what was 61 or so when it started. A couple hours later, it was in the low 70s. So once a unit at low 70s suction, you had a lower than target head pressure. Maybe a touch of a compressor starting to leak through on the valves because it's having issues because it's getting slugged because the superheat was 1. So just not a good situation. The compressor's taking hell. You know, it's not designed to be matched up with that particular indoor unit. What'll happen in air conditioning if you have a smaller evaporator with like a 13 SEER or a 14 SEER outdoor unit, it's going to be more apt to flood that evaporator because of the wildly different refrigerant volumes in those two machines. 13 SEER units made to match up with the larger 13 SEER coil. When you put a smaller coil on it, it's just going to be apt to be difficult to charge and easy to flood. And if it's not flooded, you're almost not going to have enough subcooling because you're going to have to step it back on the refrigerant side. The compromise you make is doing something like a TXV, but still, you run lower than normal suction pressure then to get your proper superheat off that TXV. So there's a lot of issues there with, you know, trying to make it work. That's why mismatched systems don't work to a certain degree. I mean, if they're closer, you know, if you like got a 13 and a 12 SEER system, close enough that you might have something that looks like the proper numbers. But when you're doing a wide, you know, like 14 to 10, 13 to 10, 13 to 8 SEER, you're going to have issues. It's going to be quite a compromise. And as you can see, we could lose up to 1/3 of the capacity of the machine. Some of that's other issues, but you know, chances are if it's a mismatched system, there's going to be other compromises in the system because it wasn't made right initially. So instead of making everything right, you know, it's sort of a compromise putting in like a new outdoor unit. What are you going to do, I guess? The reverse is not always true. I mean, if you have a new air handler, to me, that will function a little bit better as long as it's not extremely oversized. You know, you can put a TXV on that for air conditioning, and it's sort of like having a high efficiency evaporator. So not as bad as having it the other way around. So I'm off to my next call, guys. It's 11:30 Wednesday. It's hump day, hump day, hump day. I don't know why I did that. I'm very sorry. Guys, I'm here on call number 2, and it's a beautiful place. Oh yeah, on the water, baby, on the water. Nice looking house. I got some trains here. There's one right here. A couple more behind me that I'm working on. Train is stopped. I've actually already finished most of this stuff, guys. I connect out. We were checking the charge after I got done unstopping the drain, which had backed up into the secondary pan, had it off on a float switch. So I cleared the drain out, got all that done, started it up. We had a 40-pound suction and 150-pound head pressure. So I checked up in the evaporator, it was clear. So I came down here, and the only thing leaking down here was the service valves. So we might be able to stop that up with some leak lock or nylog or something. But I'm going to make sure the lady wants to do that. She already left, so I'll just come back and do it. Get these other ones checked. But that's all the story is with this one. So probably a few pounds of R22. Ouch. And she'll be back in business hopefully for a few years at least. Guys, well, I am all done with those calls. I'll probably call it a day. It's after 3 o'clock. I'm way on the wrong side of town to go to call number 3, which is not critical, which is oh happy day. I'm going to be kind of swamped the next couple days, so it all evens out. But I'm heading over to the grocery store to get me some lunch. Oh yeah, I ate some pretty awful stuff. I mean, I talked to Steve Lab the other day, and he was talking about his healthy dinners. I said, man, you should start putting them up there, and I know he has started doing them. His low carb stuff, so I can eat more healthy, because I eat shit. I mean, like the worst crap. I mean, I should literally not be here right now, even at my young age. You know, I consider great lunches to be like 50 meatballs, a box of Triscuits and cheese, spray cheese. That's right. Which is probably what I'll buy today. You know, fried chicken. Good old fried chicken. But I'm gonna go get me some lunch. Hopefully I'll wise up. I'll watch some of Steve's videos, which hopefully you guys watch too. I know a lot of us have bad eating habits, and you know, eating, smoking, drinking, you know, all these things are gonna shave years of our lives. I'm not gonna preach to anybody because I eat horrible, which I'm probably about to do again. So here we are in their natural habitat, the Eastern North Carolina chicken. Come on, where you guys going? Where you guys going? You guys are a bunch of chickens.